Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck profile. So I'm really excited to show you guys because this deck is based around the most nostalgic monster of all time, the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And this deck has changed up a lot since the last time I profiled it. I'm really excited to show you guys all the tech cards I've included in this build. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like in your name description every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron, along with test stands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. So you've got to play 3 copies of Blue Eyes in your deck because it's just super easy to summon to your side of the field, and it's a key combo piece for the majority of our plays. It's actually, fun fact, still the most powerful normal monster in the entire game, sitting at 3,000 attack points. We then play 2 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, which is a really good card that's super easy to summon at the field. By just revealing a Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand, you can special summon this card to your side of the field once per turn, which is really awesome. And it also has the ability that once per turn, while this card's on the field, you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it, but this card cannot attack the turn you activate that effect. But this card is a really good card because it also counts as Blue Eyes White Dragon while in the field in the graveyard, which helps us with all sorts of different plays for fusion summoning and all sorts of really awesome plays. We then play a single copy of Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. I never thought we would actually get a Blue Eyes Jet Dragon card, but I'm so glad we did because it's awesome, and it has the ability that other cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, which is great to give us some built-in protection for our other cards. And you can only use each of the following effects this card once per turn, and you can only activate them while you have Blue Eyes White Dragon on your field or in your graveyard. And if a card's on the field is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard or your hand, wherever it is. And at the start of the damage step, if this card battles, then you can target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand, which is a really good card effect to be able to bounce something. We then play a single copy of Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, which is a great one-of in the deck that has the ability, if this card is special summoned, you can add a ritual spell or a polymerization from your deck to your hand, and during your end phase, you can add one level 8 or higher dragon monster from your deck to your hand. And you can banish this card from the graveyard, and all level 8 or higher dragon monsters you control gain 1,000 attack points, and you can only use the effects of this card once per turn, and you can only activate them if Blue Eyes White Dragon is on the field or in the graveyard, which is super easy for this card to be able to pull off because you're always going to have a Blue Eyes on the field or in the graveyard. We then play a single copy of Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, which is one of my favorite Blue Eyes cards in the entire game. It's really easy to search off your copy of Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon and get to your ritual spell extremely quickly with your copy of Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, but this card is absolutely insane because your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, and also it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either, and if this card attacks a defense solution monster, it does double piercing damage, which is absolutely crazy. This card is absolutely massive as well at 4,000 attack points, and it's super easy to summon with your copy of Chaos form by just banishing a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the graveyard to summon this card to the field, which is also searched off your Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. We then play 3 copies of Dictator of D. Dictator of D is a really good 3-of that's basically the Magician's Soul of the Blue Eyes deck, that while you control a Blue Eyes monster, you choose the attack target for your opponent's attacks, which is really good because you can point them into a Blue Eyes White Dragon that has 3,000 attack points, or even a copy of your Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon if it's on the field, which is 3,400 attack points, which is really insane that you get to pick the attack targets for your opponent's monsters. This card is also super easy to summon to the field because you can send a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or deck to the grave to special summon this card from your hand. And you can discard a Blue Eyes White Dragon or a card that mentions it, then target a Blue Eyes monster in the grave and special summon it, which is absolutely crazy that you can use that effect on this card. We then play 2 copies of the White Stone of Ancient. I'm just playing 2 copies of this card in this build because I feel like 2 is plenty. It has the ability that once per turn, turn during the end phase. If this card is in the graveyard, because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon out a Blue Eyes monster from your deck, which is really good to get out your copy of Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, to be able to search Blue Eyes Chaos Max and a Ritual spell, which is really good, or be able to search out Polymerization and a level 8 or higher dragon, which is really good. And it also has the ability that you can banish this card from your graveyard and then target a Blue Eyes monster in your grave and add it back to your hand like a copy of your Blue Eyes alternative White Dragon, which is really good to get back out of the grave if it's in the grave. We then play 2 copies of the White Stone of Legend, which is why I'm playing 2 copies of the White Stone of Ancient. This card is super simple. If this card is sent to the grave, you get to add a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand, which is really good because you want to have your Blue Eyes White Dragon in the hand so you can use it for fusion plays or reveal it to summon out your copy of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, which is really good. We then play 3 copies of Sage with Eyes of Blue. This card is a really good 3F in the deck because when this card is normal summon, you can add a light level 1 tuner monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, and you can discard this card and then target an effect monster that you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck, which is really good to summon out Jet Dragon, your copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon, or even your copy of Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon directly from your deck off this card, and it searches your copy of the White Stone of Ancient and your copy of White Stone of Legend, which is really good to be able to search those cards just off of a normal summon, and it can also even search out your copy of Effect Veiler that we play in the deck, which is really good to be able to search off the normal summon of your Sage. We then play a single copy of Chaos Dragon Levinair. Chaos Dragon Levinair is a really good card to summon to your side of the field because it cannot be normal summoner set. It must be special summoned from your hand by banishing a total of 3 light and dark monsters from your graveyard, and depending on what you banish to summon this card depends on the effects that it gets. If you only banish light, you special summon a monster from the grave in defense, which can help you go into rank 8 plays, and is overall just a great effect. And if you banish only dark, you shuffle 1 random card from your opponent's hand into the deck, and if you banish both light and dark, you destroy 2 cards on the field, and it doesn't target, which is really cool to be able to just pop 2 on the field. I then play 2 copies of Nebula Dragon. This is just in case I get multiple Blue Eyes in the hand and I want to make a rank 8 play, or a link play, because it has the ability to reveal this card in your hand and another level 8 Dragon monster in your hand to special summon both of them in defense position, but their effects are negated. Also, you cannot normal summon or set monsters for the rest of the turn except light or dark Dragon monsters, which you basically just normal summon before you activate this card's effect, which is usually what you're going to do anyways. You can also banish this card from the graveyard and then target a 1 level 4 light or dark dragon monster in the grave and add it back to your hand, which we're usually going to be using that to be able to grab either the White Dragon Wyvern Buster or the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent to be able to grab either of these cards back out of the graveyard, which is just super handy to be able to do. And they're really easy to summon because you just have to banish either a light monster or a dark monster to be able to summon them to the side of the field, which is really cool. And when they leave the field, they search either or, which is really awesome. For example, if I link away my copy of Black Dragon for a Striker Dragon, I then can search out my copy of White Dragon, and if I link away the White Dragon, I can search out the Black Dragon, which is really cool to be able to grab the ones that you need to your hand. Super awesome effect. We then play a single copy of Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron is a card that is super easy to summon in this deck and is easy to summon off your copy of Needle Fiber, which is just really good, and it comes back over and over again to help us go in for different plays. This card is great in the deck and just an overall fantastic card that if it's sent to the graveyard, or basically if it's in the graveyard, you can send a card from your hand to the grave to special summon this card back to the field, but banish it when it leaves the field. But it's a great one of in the deck. We then play a single copy of Effect Veiler, which is searchable off your copy of Sage, which is really good in the deck to be able to search this off of your copy of Sage, because it's just a super easy negate to be able to activate against the opponent. And then we play 3 copies of Ash Blossom to round out the monsters. Ash Blossom basically says your opponent cannot touch the deck, which is really good in this build to be able to just stop the opponent. It's the best hand trap in the game. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Chaos Form. Chaos Form is so we can summon out our copy of Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, which is really good. You can interchange this out with Advanced Ritual Art, which is an option for you guys, but I like Chaos Form to be able to banish a Blue Eyes monster from the graveyard or a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the grave to instantly summon out my copy of Blue Eyes Chaos Max to do that double piercing damage into a defense position monster, which is really crazy. We then play a single copy of Polymerization because it is is searchable in the deck, and it's super easy to summon out cards like your Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, or even your copy of your Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon using this card. We then play a single copy of Ultimate Fusion, which is the ultimate fusion spell in this deck, with the ability that during your main phase, fusion summon a fusion monster from your X deck that mentions a Blue Eyes White Dragon or a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as material by shuffling the fusion materials listed on it from your hand, field, or graveyard into the deck. And then you can destroy cards on the field that your opponent controls up to the number of Blue Eyes White Dragons and Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons used from the field as material, which gives you multiple pops on the field if you fusion summon your alternative white or your Blue Eyes White Dragon that's on the field to summon out a copy of Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon or Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate or Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon from the extra deck. We then play 3 copies of the Melody of Awakening Dragon. This card is a crazy search card. By just discarding a card, you can add 2 dragon monsters with 3,000 or more attack and 2,500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. This card is one of the craziest search cards in the entire game still to this day, with just how simple the effect is to be able to add Blue Eyes White Dragon and your copy of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon directly from your deck to your hand, so you can reveal that Blue Eyes and special summon out your alternative, which is really cool just by discarding a card like a copy of the White Stone of Legend, which then will give you another search, which is really cool, of a second Blue Eyes White Dragon. We then play 3 copies of Trade-In to round out the spells because we play so many level 8s in the deck that this card just comes in handy to be able to discard any monster that's a level 8 in our hand to be able to draw 2 cards. So if you get multiple Blue Eyes in the hand and you need one in the graveyard, you can just discard it to get a draw 2, which is really, really good. So that's it for these spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, bringing the total up to 7 hand traps in this deck, with 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, 3 copies of Ash Blossom, and a single copy of Effect Veiler, which is really, really nice. And if you count the normal summon of your Sage, you're really playing around 10 hand traps in the deck, which is really cool because you can search out your copy of Effect Veiler off the normal summon of a Sage, which is really nice. But the copies of Infinite Impermanence are very, very handy in the deck, and just with the 7 hand traps in the main deck, you have plenty of ways to stop the opponent, but Infinite Impermanence is definitely a 3F because you can actually search it back out of the graveyard with your copy of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon because of its last effect, which is really, really cool. Then once returned at the end of the damage step, if this card battles a monster, you can target a trap card in the graveyard and set it back to your spell and trap card zone, which is a really good effect to be able to recover back your copy of Infinite Impermanence. So that's it for the traps, guys, and the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, which is one of my favorite fusion monsters in the game, with a crazy powerful effect that it just takes a Blue Eyes White Dragon plus a dragon monster to make this card, which is any dragon that you have in the deck, from a White Stone of Ancient, White Stone of Legend, any of those cards, the Black Dragon, White Dragon, whichever one you have, you can use Poly to make this card super easy, or even use your copy of Ultimate Fusion to make this card. And it must first be either fusion summon or special summon from the extra deck by tributing a Blue Eyes White Dragon equipped with a fusion monster, which is never going to happen. It's unaffected by trap cards or effects, and this card can attack all monsters that your opponent controls once each, and then once per turn, at the end of the damage step, if this card battled, you can target a trap card in the grave and set it back to your spell and trap card zone, which is always going to be your copy of Infinite Impermanence. We then play a single copy of Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. This card can attack twice, which is really, really cool. It's a really good boss monster because you don't have to use polymerization to actually summon it. You can contact fuse into this card, which is really cool. And it also has the ability that if the monster is not destroyed by battle, you can banish the monster that this card battled, which is really, really good. We then play a single copy of Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. This card is insanely good. It has the ability that your opponent cannot target this card or destroy this card with card effects, and then once per turn, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. But if you use Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon to make this card, you can target up to 3 cards your opponent controls and destroy them, but this card can't attack the turn to activate the effect, which is a little bit of a downside, but popping 3 cards is totally fine because it clears the way to go in for game. We then play a single copy of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon because it's just a really good card to be able to stop the opponent from summoning more than one monster at a time, and it also has the ability to tribute this synchro summon card, and you can special summon out a Light Dragon type synchro monster from your X deck in defense position, except another copy of this card, but destroy it during the end phase. But that's totally fine because we can summon out our copy of Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, which is a really good one of to be able to make in this deck, because if this card is special summoned until the end of the next turn, neither player can target dragon monsters you currently control with card effects, and also they cannot be destroyed by card effects at all. And it also is a walking monster reborn that during your standby phase, you can target a normal monster in the grave and special summon it back, so you can bring back your copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon to the field, which is really good to help you build up a bunch of really powerful dragons on the field to go in for game. We then play a single copy of Black Rose Dragon, or Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. This card is really good to be able to summon off your copy of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon's effect, to be able to tribute it and then summon out this card. And this card is actually a walking bounce, because if it's special summoned, you can, or a level 5 or higher monster is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, you can target one special monster opponent controls and return it to the hand, which is really good, especially if you're going up against another Synchro deck, which is really, really nice, or a fusion deck to be able to summon out those monsters that have level 5 or higher. Is really good to be able to bounce them with this card. We then play a single copy of Formula Synchron, which is summoned off the copy of Needle Fiber all the time to be able to make your copy of Baron de Fleur with any level 8 monster plus your copy of Formula, which is absolutely insane. Baron de Fleur is a really, really good card in this deck because it pops cards and it negates cards, and it's overall one of the best synchro monsters ever created. We then play just a single copy of number 38, which negates spell effects, which is just a really good rank 8 in the deck. We then play a single copy of Access Code because it pops cards on the field, which is really, really good. One copy of Celine because it's easy to step into this card. Really, really easy to step in this card with your copy of Needle Fiber, because you just make Needle Fiber with any two monsters that one's a tuner and one's a non-tuner. Summon out your copy of Effect Veiler from the deck, and then once you do, you can make your copy of Celine with the copy of Needle Fiber and the copy of your Effect Veiler, and then you make your copy of Access Code by using the copy of Celine's effect to bring back a spellcaster from the grave to a zone that this card points to by removing 3 counters off of it, and then you make Access Code, which will give it a double pop on the field, and it will come out at 53, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Striker Dragon. The reason I play this card is a 1-of in the deck, because you make this card with your copy of either the black or the white dragon, and then once you do, you'll search out the other one that you didn't use as a link material, and then you'll summon it out to the field and summon out a copy of your Hieratic Seal by using Striker Dragon and your white or black dragon that you have on the field, which is a great effect. We then play a single copy of Linkuriboh. Linkuriboh is really good to be able to make with any of the eggs in the deck, like your copy of the White Stone of Ancient or the copy of the White Stone of Legend, which is really, really good in the deck to be able to make Linkuriboh to protect you from attacks. This card is absolutely insane and helps you get those monsters into the graveyard as well, so you can go in for more plays. And I really like the Hieratic Seal in the deck because it bounces cards and summons additional big dragons to the field. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really fun deck to be able to play with. If you guys have never played with Blue Eyes White Dragon, I definitely would give it a try because it is super fun, especially this build. This deck is a deck I wouldn't hesitate to carry to a locals or regionals or anything. It's super crazy to be able to play, and it actually is really, really consistent. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.